Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more variable barricade, continuing Tyga's route. Just in the place where we left off in this hard to find answer chapter. Tyga ran away and left us, and now our boys are going to make us feel better, I guess. Anyway, I followed his gesture and sat down on a corner of the sofa. I picked up a cushion and held it. We were kind of in the middle of the scene, so yeah. Oh, I love when we get little chibis. He waggled his hands at me again, indicating I should wait a minute. Then he dashed off again. After he left, Ichia and Shion settled onto the sofa, bookending me between them. And Kosuga said you should eat something once you got up. Are you hungry? No, I'm sorry. I'm also sorry that I keep, adjusting my throat, but, I don't know. It's okay, there's no rush. But let me know when you feel like you can eat something, even if it's something small, okay? I can't do Ichi's voice right now, it's not perfect. I don't know. You always work yourself so hard, Spacey. You ought to take time off every once in a while to let your body and soul recover. Why not relax with me for a bit? Relax? Yes, and no one will mind if you loosen up on your manners, okay? Well, I felt guilty that I was making them all so concerned. I really, really wanted to give in and indulge in their kindness. That desire dazedly overtook me when suddenly I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. That mug. What about it? It's Taiga's. No, it just looks like the one he used to use, but it's actually different. Here, see? The design on my cup isn't quite the same size. No, that's definitely the one he used. We'll fucking eat you. Just chuck the fucking mug. Ichia, that's gonna make a mess. What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh. Mug? What mug? I've never seen a mug in my life. I suppose so. Hey, the magazine over there. Oh, this motorcycle magazine? Tyga used to read that. Oh, what? The Tyga's noodle cup. Kosuga comes in and there's just mugs and noodle cups and magazines strewn all over the place. Like, the fuck is going on? You be seeing things. You be seeing things? Was he trying to, girl, you be seeing things. Is he trying to say it with, an attitude or something? Because, this doesn't sound like something Shion would say. Anyway, you're seeing things. There isn't a motorcycle magazine to be found within 50 miles of the house. Oh, I guess. That Flan cup. Oh, right, it's Flan. Okay, right. It's like the one Tyga wrote his name on. Told you. That isn't Tyga's Flan! Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry to make you wait. May Tyga come back soon. May Tyga change his mind. That's all it says. Or may Tyga come home soon is, I guess, another one, but... Spacey, look! It's almost Christmas! Come look at this! It's sure to make you feel happier! It's got Tyga written fucking literally all over it. Christmas? Yeah, see? It's an amazing Christmas tree, isn't it? Christmas. Almost here. It isn't properly decorated yet, so I thought we'd wait to show it to you. Sorry we didn't discuss getting one with you beforehand, but if you'd like, you can decorate it together with us. Oh, that's a great idea. Here, you can write on these. Paper strips. To put on the Christmas tree? I'm gonna do everything I can to help you, Spacey, so I made lots and lots of wishes. Here, I just wrote down what I think you need the most. Fucking Mayuta. What I need most? I moved closer to the tree and peered at one of the paper strips hanging on it. Written on the underside was, "May Tyga come back home soon." Nayuta! Right, I'm sorry! Goodness, talk about a circus. Even after that, the three of them kept trying to turn the topic away from Taiga. Their attempts failed in increasingly spectacular ways, trying to turn the topic away from Taiga. Jeez. Eventually, I became so enthralled by their frantic energy that I stopped thinking about them. I feel a little bit better. They were still depressed at their dismal failures, however. Maybe after they lightened up a little. Then maybe I'd tell them they'd been a big help. It's me, miss. May I come in? Kasuga? Yes, you may. Yay! Where the fuck were you before? Like, you've been missing for a while, buddy. Oh, good. I'm relieved to see that some of your color has returned. Has? Yes, but the others still seem to have more energy than they know what to do with. Perhaps you might allow them to share some of their gusto with you. Kasuga, what are you suggesting? Oh, that we take Nayuta on a walk as a group? Yeah, okay, sure. Maybe later. I feel a little tired right now. If I was being honest, I found too many things that reminded me of Taiga down in the living area. Seeing them made my heart ache. Okay, then go out in the backyard and throw a ball with Nayuta. The others must have known how I felt. That's why they'd been in such a hurry to clean everything up. That's the couch the Taiga used to sit on! They fucking shuck the couch. In regards to Mr. Isurugi, I was informed that, after he left, he visited the master in Kamakura and formally resigned from his observer position. Oh, did grandfather say anything to him? Not much, no. He's never had much time for people who lack motivation. But he had a great deal of respect for Taiga's talents. I'm certain the two of them got along quite well. However, friends and business associates are two different things. Kasuga was right, of course. Kasuga's always right. I don't know why you questioned that. Jesus. But part of me desperately wanted to think that couldn't be the case. I'm sure Taiga must be very important to grandfather, too. Do you think I could speak with grandfather? I've been informed that he's extremely busy at this time of year. I can certainly pass along your request, but I cannot promise that it will be granted. He at least wanted to know what he had said to Taiga. If I could learn that much... Miss Spacey, I am aware that you thought very highly of Mr. Isurugi. But no matter the circumstances, abandoning one's given duty and running away is not commendable behavior. I couldn't be right. Simply couldn't. Taiga had to have some reason. A good one. Yeah, he's a coward. Chicken shit. He's falling in love with you and he couldn't fucking handle it, so he ran away. He'll come back, but I'm just saying. Like... And it's okay to get scared once in a while. Hey, fear exists in humans, it's natural, but like, you know, you gotta get over that shit. He's gonna get over it and come back, but right now we're mad at him for being a coward. Okay? That's it. I almost gave voice to my thoughts, but instead I closed my mouth and slumped in silent defeat. That's all I have to report, miss. Please have a relaxing evening. I'll have a relaxing evening when the game lets me date you, you motherfucker. Cousin, brother, father, whatever, I don't even care, okay? I'm just saying. If you need anything, don't hesitate to call me. Now then, good night. Suppose I can take that to mean he doesn't know where Taiga is now. Oh, I'm sure he does. He's got trackers on everybody. Or he did know and he had no intention of telling me. That was entirely possible, absolutely. If Grandfather or Kasuga truly wanted to track Taiga, they had all the necessary resources to find him anytime, anywhere. But if I can find some way to convince them to tell me, then maybe I could see him and talk. So you're gonna fly to a whole foreign other fucking country, probably, to find him? Like, I'm just saying. I froze mid-sentence. Talk to him about what? Right, okay, that too. I remembered how he'd walked away without looking back even once. Another wave of depression washed over me. I didn't want things to end like this. That at least was true. But I didn't have the first idea about what I could say or do to convince him to return. And that's the thing. I mean, this goes through your head, absolutely. Like, I need to convince them to come back. But the thing is like, it's another human being. Like, there's no amount of convincing that's going to work because, like, they have free will. And their free will is, I don't want to be here anymore. You're like, I'm going to con you into coming back. You know what I mean? It's not like a job where you're like, well, okay, we give you better benefits or anything like that. It's a relationship Like, and even with a job, you could offer me all sorts of wonderful fucking things, but if the people around me at that job suck dick, I'm not going back to that bullshit. You know what I mean? So, like, but again, this is not that kind of negotiation, right? Like, but this goes through your head, like, what do I have to do? Right, nothing. I need to get the fuck over it. I mean, Tyga's gonna come back, it's fine, but still. I don't understand him well enough. Dull pain began to throb behind my temples. I sank onto the sofa and eased my eyes shut. Felt like I might be able to sleep, this time without being tormented by bad dreams. Though given my exhaustion, that wasn't surprising. Not clear. Still in this chapter. It's very hard to find answers, so it's going to take a while. Just saying. Yeah, she's beyond depressed, and it's not hard to reason why. Birds are going nuts downstairs. It hurts my heart to see her, and I can hardly stand it. Isn't there anything we can do to help Spacey cheer up again? I'm afraid there's only one thing I can think of. And Tyga's the only answer, huh? Sheesh. What was that man thinking? Just running off like a thief in the night and breaking her poor heart? I love Ichi. I'm sure he's not saying it anywhere near as dramatic as I like to read it, but I just like imagining everything he says is slightly dramatic. It's more fun. My birds are going ballistic downstairs. I have no idea what they're doing. Like, it's happy chirping. It's not like they're fighting, but like... Yeah, I say that we go out and look for him ourselves. Yeah, I'll go and check every single place I can think of where Tyga might be holed up. I could bring the car around and drive you. A friend of mine is quite good at finding people. Is he also good at breaking their kneecaps, Shion? Their faces right now. Ichi is like sad, but like, oh. And now you're just like, like, if we do find him, he'll come back with us quietly, right? I wouldn't bet on it, given how he left. But again, I know someone for that. Still, it's better than sitting around here twiddling our thumbs. We could at least let him know how she's feeling. Actually, I'm sure Nayuta knows someone that could bust some kneecaps. You know, he's got lots of loan shark buddies, but everybody loves him, so he might not realize that they bust kneecaps. You know, but... Ichiya and Shion would be like, Nayuta knows someone. There's loan shark, and he's like, no, they're great! And you're like, trust me. True. What Tyga does afterwards, and how Spacey chooses to respond, that will be up to them. Right. We'll leave it in their hands. So we're going to set up the whole frickin' fiancé choosing ceremony thing like we did with Nayuta. Feel like we're like heading to that. I mean, we got a couple of the shorty side story things here before the main event, and then we have this one main chapter, so. Do we not have choices in that one? Guess not. Broken Hero. I visit grandfather to ask about Tyga. He tells me the story of Tyga's childhood. 97.5. My fever's gone at least. I looked at the thermometer again and sighed. The day after I played hooky from school, I developed a real fever and spent the day abed. It was a bit pathetic. It started going back down as early as last night, but my condition concerned the others. I suppose you really can worry yourself sick. Are you awake, miss? That was a really squeaky R, wasn't it? Yes, give me a moment. I quickly straightened my clothes and fixed my hair, then opened my room door. How's your fever doing? I handed Kasuga the thermometer. He looked at it and let out a sigh of relief, of course, because he's worried about us. He loves us. Well, also, if we died, he'd be unemployed. He'd be like, you did this! It's like, I didn't give her cancer, man! Like, good. Your fever is completely subsided. I feel much better now. Yeah, I feel a little bit better. I mean, from the fever, but... What shall you do about school? You seem to have recovered enough to attend, if you choose. I knew that I ought to go, but for some reason I really didn't feel like it. I also knew that this behavior was very unlike me. Kasuga stood quietly, patiently waiting for my answer. A part of me wished he would scold me and give me the prodding that I needed. In these situations, Kasuga never spoiled me. Well, my fever is gone. I had to work to get the words out. Your fever's gone, but you just got over your fever, you know what I mean? Like, give it a day. I couldn't find the energy to say anything else. Like, Kasuga looks sad. She's like, he never, like, gives me any, like, will you, and it's like, but he's like, you're sick and you're hurting. Kasuga's not that mean. He pushes us because he has to. Tough love.
Oh, yes. Come to think of it, there is news that I almost forgot to mention.
News?
There was a cancellation in the master's schedule today, freeing up 2 hours of his time. If you truly wish to see him, I could attempt to make an appointment. It would, however, mean you need to take today off from school.
Kasuga helping us play hooky, giving us an excuse, even though I just got over being sick is enough of an excuse to take an extra day. Just like, please?
As you wish.
Kasuga nodded, his expression perfectly neutral. But as he walked out of the room, I caught a glance from him that clearly said, just this once. I promise I'll be back to myself tomorrow. I gotta sneeze. And I'm back to myself now. Never not myself, always sneezing. At least that part of me is always. I hurriedly got myself ready, my eyes constantly darting to the door.
The master awaits you in the reception room. While you have your meeting, I'll attend to a few matters here. Please call me when you're finished.
Okay. I swallowed hard as I left Kasuga and made my way to the reception room.
What another disappointment!
Look, I just got here!
Not you!
Oh. After we exchanged our traditional glares, Grandfather sighed and launched into a long complaint session.
And here I hope the next time I got to see you would hear about your formalized engagement. How in the world did everything go so wrong?
You picked Taiga to be the observer and he's an ass. You know? That's what I'd like to know. I reined in my annoyance and bit my lip as I looked down at my hands in my lap.
I'm sure Kasuga's already informed you, but Taiga visited me and formally announced his decision to step down from his position as my observer.
Did he say anything else?
I've heard the gist of events up until the point where he had to tell the others he was an observer. Struck me as an unusually amateurish move. It's usually far more clever than that. Oh well.
Did he also tell you that he said he was going to formally try to court me, and then he decided to run off with his tail between his legs like a goddamn fucking chicken shit?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't mention that, did he? Goddamn.
I did at least suggest he stays a real suitor, but he refused.
Yeah, that's why he left, but...
Told me it was too much of a burden for him to bear.
I don't understand. I've thought about it over and over, but I simply can't figure out why Taiga had to leave. And why so suddenly? If he said it was too much of a burden, does that mean he finally got fed up with me? It's not helping that you're talking to your grandfather who's always, like, kind of an ass to you.
Yeah, you're kind of a pain in the ass.
Like, you know what I mean? The last thing I wanted was for grandfather to think I was whining. Kinda am, though. You kinda need to. Right now, you need to vent, let it out, and be better. But his words about Taiga reached into my chest and squeezed my heart like a vice. I couldn't control the emotion in my voice.
Spacey, what sort of man do you think Taiga is?
I looked up in surprise. Grandfather's calm, quiet eyes watched me. Well, obviously he's a fucking flake at this point, that's what I think. Chicken shit coward. I like him, but he's a chicken shit coward right now. It was not an idle question. I guess... He's a strong man. He's unwaveringly confident in both his deeds and actions. He's a keen eye and is surprisingly wise. He's good at pushing me when I need to leave my comfort zone. He makes it easy for me to believe that everything he says and does has a purpose. That's why I wanted him to stay with me. You feel the same way, right? It's like, whoa. I mean, sure, like, not like that.
That is a fine question.
He said nothing to either support or dismiss my idea of Taiga as a person. Instead, he started to tell his own story about Taiga.
Taiga's always been fiercely independent ever since he was a boy.
His eyes looked distant as he recalled his old memories, and that's the thing. It's that he's fiercely independent, and now you're going to tie him down, and he can't handle it. Can't handle that responsibility, can't handle the change, like, you know. I mean, we kind of saw that, you know that, so.
Being from an orphanage, he quickly learned people had their own preconceived notions about him. Above all else, he hated being pitied. It infuriated him to no end when others said, "You poor boy, you'll never have a full life without parents." Told me he could do anything he put his mind to. He said that having no parents meant he was, in fact, that much freer to be himself.
Grandfather's expression grew wistful as he talked about Taiga's childhood. Taiga wasn't omnipotent, of course. Like anyone, he was good at some things and not at others. He understood as much. But he always said that if he decided he was going to put effort into doing something serious, he would start at the same spot as any child with parents. Basically, he didn't want to use his status as an orphan as an excuse for not being able to get ahead in life. It sounded like he had a lot of pride, even back then.
I got a very good point. There was nothing wrong with his beliefs, and I must admit I was entertained by his cheeky nature. But as you grow older, you learn more about the world. Start to learn things like how society works, and your own limits as a person.
Did something happen?
During one of his visits with me, he asked me a question. He wanted to know how much it would cost for the children at the orphanage to grow up in luxury. You may not believe it, but he's quite sentimental. He lives to repay the orphanage for raising him. And Tiger became something of a hero to the kids living there. Looking back, that might not have been wise. Tiger talked excitedly about the things he wanted the children to be able to do and the facilities that could be added to the orphanage.
So, like, when we were like, look at all the things we could do, he's like, it's never gonna work. He's just reminded of his own dreams that our grandfathers smashed. So he smashes ours. I mean, he has a point, though.
I'm certain he held on to a vision of the kids at the orphanage beaming and exclaiming how cool their big brother Tiger was. Wasn't pleasant, but I had no choice but to bring Tiger's dreams back down to earth. He listened quietly as I spoke.
Oh. When Tiger rejected my suggestions the other day, he did effectively tell me the same thing. Oh, did he effectively tell me the same thing Grandfather once told him? If that was the case, I must have looked like a clueless child while I prattled on about my ideals. I just got a weird, creepy, weird... Do you get that weird deja vu sense? And you're like, what the fuck? So bizarre. Anyway, kindness and charity and stuff, that kind of stuff feels good when you do it. People can get addicted to that feeling and get carried away. Can't say it's never happened to me. Thinking back on the moment, Taiga's face had been a mask of mixed emotions. He didn't say it out loud, but did my enthusiasm remind him of his past self? You ever get those weird, like, moments where you have, like, something that pops in your head and you're like, whoa, it's like the weird deja vu feeling, but for some reason you can't 100% grasp it, and it just kind of sticks with you? And, like, right now it's like it's fading away, and I'm like, but I still can't place it, but I still have that weird, you know that feeling you get when you have it? Like, it's almost like, you know when you're first falling asleep and you feel like you're floating in space, and you're like, whoa, whatever. It's like that, but in my brain. Something is happening, and my brain is like, there was like a weird deja vu-y moment thing where something popped into my head, and I was like, oh yeah. Like a memory, but it wasn't deja vu, but you know what I mean? It was like a weird memory that you're like, oh yeah. And you have that weird experience. Like, there's something seriously wrong with my fucking brain lately, because I feel like this is not the first time this has happened in Taiga's route. And it's not even like it's something Taiga said. It's just out of nowhere, something pops in the back of my head. Like, you know, you have a weird random memory moments where you're just sitting there doing something. You're like, oh, this weird memory from like something happened. And then like, but it doesn't even tie into what's going on. I just had one of those, but it like just flitted away. But the feeling of like something weird is still in my brain. But I can't even remember what the hell just, like, came in and was like, hey, here's this weird memory thing. Because that just drifted away like a dream. Did I just seriously, like, fall asleep while I was reading? Guys. If I have a brain aneurysm, you've all seen the lead up to it. Because some weirdest shit has been happening to me in the last, like, fucking week. And I don't even understand what is going on in my brain right now. Like, I don't know. That was the weirdest fucking thing. And I was like, whoa. You know, it was like a weird, like, roller coaster in your brain. And you're like, I'm just sitting here, but I feel like I'm like fucking on Space Mountain or some shit. Like, what? I don't know, man. I have no idea what the hell is happening. The neurons are not firing properly in my brain lately. Like, shit. I could have just let it go, but I can't because it's the weirdest feeling, and I'm still having that like weird like brain floaty. Okay. Seriously, it's bizarre. It's like, I mean, it's like lunchtime right now as I'm recording, but like I ate breakfast and shit, and I'm not like hungry. Not like the last time where I was like, I black out while I'm reading because I'm starving to death. Like, that is not what's happening here. I don't know. I'm kind of concerned for my brain right now, but alright, anyway. Ugh. He didn't say it out loud, but did my enthusiasm remind him of his past self? I don't know if I just read that. Anyway.
Even now I stand by my words. It was the right thing to say, even if it hurt. Spacey, is it possible that I unintentionally shattered something hopeful in his heart that day? He learned that he'd been naive, that even he had his limits. But he couldn't give up on his dreams regardless. I'm sure that caused him a lot of pain and frustration.
Oh my god, our grandfather's having a touching moment.
He started gambling shortly thereafter. Still wonder if our conversation was the spark.
What?
Even if he diligently saved up his money working at a normal job, he wouldn't earn nearly enough to make his dream come true. Tiger knew by then that life is unkind. But he couldn't set his vision aside. Instead, he chose to rely on Lady Luck for one final fruitless time. I suspect he was just intent on torturing himself.
Well, see, the thing is, so, like, he's not wrong, and, like, you can't just... And, like, even he said, well, all your money to us, like, doesn't matter because there's other kids constantly coming in. But it doesn't mean we can't do a little bit more. Like, our grandfather's like, bring toys, little bits of donations. But it doesn't mean that we can't give a little bit of a donation to this particular orphanage. And the thing is like, no, you do have to be, when you have this kind of money with your donations, you can't just give it to every single fucking charity. Can't. You know what I mean? But every orphanage is like, okay, you probably have an orphanage that is in your area, or you have a rich person in your area, maybe they should not be a shady son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, when you have millions or billions, you should be contributing to charity because you're probably, in America, not paying your motherfucking taxes. So, like, give me that bullshit. And the poor people that are working for you, we're looking at you, Amazon, like, peeing in bottles and getting whipped for trying to go to the bathroom or, like, whatever. Like, you're treating your freaking workforce like slave laborers. So, like, I don't know. I don't think you really have an excuse of why you can't give back. Most normal people are like, I make a good salary, but I'm struggling to pay all my bills because everything's expensive, and the billionaires just keep getting richer, and then the rest of us just get poorer, and then, whatever. But I feel like, okay, grandfather here is like, yeah, donation. You could still probably donate more than you do. Not saying letting the orphans live a life of luxury, because most human beings in the world are not going to live a life of luxury. You know what I mean? The life you're living seems like luxury to someone, and you're over there like, bitch, I'm buying Wonder Bread that's on sale because, like, I can't afford, like, anything fancy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, somebody else has a more luxurious life compared to you, but you have a more luxurious life compared to other people. Like, everyone's got someone above them and someone below them in the totem pole, okay? Like, that's just the way it is. There's always someone better than you at something, someone worse than you at something. You're never most likely going to be the number one best, have the number one best life, like, whatever, Unless you're a billionaire, then you just buy that shit and everybody, whatever. Like, so, yeah, I mean, Tyga growing up as an orphan wants better things for the orphanage, but he overshot, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. You gotta dream big. But also, if you dream smaller, then when you meet that dream, it's more of an achievement than, I'm dreaming big and I want every orphan to grow up in the life of luxury and having spas and tigers they can ride on and all this crazy shit. Then, like, when they actually have food and shelter and, like, their basic needs are met, plus maybe they have a little bit of extra comfort, then that doesn't seem as impressive to you. Whereas, if you're like, look, I just want them to be happy in their childhood and know that they're not, like, worthless, and they have a roof over their head, they have food, they have decent clothes, they're not wearing tattered rags to school, begging on a street corner. You know what I mean? But, like, you gotta tone it down a little, Tyga. You know? Realistic expectations, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't give them a little bit more. You know, we couldn't up the ante. So, like, we wanted to do all this. He's not wrong saying, hey, yo, your wealth is not going to be enough for every single orphan to come in to keep doing this for everybody. No, but our grandfather might go tiny little donations and whatever. And yes, okay, let's take out the, you got to think about everybody all of a sudden coming to you begging for charity. You know what I mean? But, like, you don't have to be like, I got you, like, each, here's one starburst each. You know what I mean? You could do a little bit more. You don't have to go big or go home, you know. So we could kind of meet somewhere in the middle, you know? But, like, yeah, Grandpa, you just, like, slapped him in the face and were like, shut the fuck up and go back in the corner. And he did the same to us, you know. We could meet each other partway, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway. I'm gonna be plunging down bets. Why not dream big? Big stakes, big prizes. Which, I mean, and again, so, yeah. Prizes big enough to set you up for life if you manage to win them. But again, we're set up for life, sorta. But like you said, it's never gonna end, because there will always be kids in that orphanage, so. He made it sound like a joke, but in reality, at least he's gambling for a noble reason, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna have an addiction, at least it's because in your heart, you're like, if I win big, those orphans are gonna be taken care of, and not like, yeah, if I win big, think of all the drugs I could buy, you know? Unless it's medicinal drugs for the children, because, you know, they need their meds. I don't know. Just kidding. Oh, good lords. Okay, go away. If you did win a lot of money, what dream would you spend it on? I'd blow it all and live in the lap of luxury. He'd actually been trying to justify clinging to his impossible dream, or had he actually? Sorry, I can't read. You know I can't read. The longer I listened to Grandfather talk about Tyga, the more his words started to ring with a disturbingly familiar tone. Looking back on how I acted, you said Tyga's strong and unwaveringly confident. Unwaveringly confident. Wise, reliable, keen-eyed. You said he's the kind of person you trusted to steer you right. He looked at me with calm eyes, but there was a flicker of severity in the depths of that gaze. I'll not deny that he's indeed all those things, but that's just one side of his personality. Listen, Spacey, if that is all Tyga is to you, then you're no different than the starry-eyed orphans who think their big brother can do no wrong. He's a terrific show-off, after all. Can't help but try to outdo the expectations people put on him. You understand what I'm getting at? Shame burned at the back of my throat. Finally, I realized what I had done. I had pushed him past his breaking point, taken advantage of him. I don't think we took advantage of him. But, like, if he tries to outdo the expectations people put on him, then I would say that we would be the pushed him past his breaking point. Because we had these expectations, and then he was trying, and he's like, I can't do this! You know what I mean? Especially because we had these, like, this is all the wonderful things you are, instead of accepting that he's got flaws. We basically saw no flaws. So he's like, yeah, I am a flawed human being, and then was just like, so I would say pushed him past his breaking point, because I don't think we took advantage of him. Kind of curious how we would have done that. Yeah, okay. Pushed him past his breaking point. Good. I'd stressed Tyga out beyond his normal limits. I'd pushed him to his breaking point, in fact. Well, look at you and see how much faith you put in me. As you see me as some kind of superhero who can accomplish anything. It makes me a bit ill. I'm not the amazing guy you think I am. Not even close. What? But, Tyga... Please, babe. Just leave off. I mean, the thing is like... We're not wrong, but also wrong. Because, like, you have to accept a person's flaws, and you have to realize they have flaws. But it doesn't mean that you're not like, hey, even with all those flaws, I just see the good things, and your flaws don't make a difference. Like, I don't mind those flaws. You're still a superhero to me. even with all your flaws. But I acknowledge they're there. We just didn't acknowledge the flaws were there. And he's like, you don't even know! And we're like, no, I mean, I know. Still, you know? Alright. Every time I'd complimented him, he'd brushed it off while looking uncomfortable. I thought he was simply being humble. After all, I'd convinced myself that he was practically invincible. He can't take compliments. I'm just kidding. He knew things I didn't know. He had talents that I could never dream of mastering. He was, to put it simply, a superhero. Or at the very least, I looked up to him with the kind of blunt adulation that I'd probably give to a superhero. He'd never let me down, I told myself. Tiger would always come through for me. Well, he let me down right now, and he's not coming through for me at the moment, so there's that. Yay! I told myself he could do no wrong. Oh. That's what makes all this so hard, babe. I just run my mouth about whatever dumb junk pops into my mind, but then you take it seriously and start trying to change yourself. To be honest, it's scary. Those quiet, pained words he'd left me with had been the absolute truth. And they were a whispered scream. Tyga is as human as anyone else. He's not invincible. You'd think that would be obvious, but I shut my eyes and kept them shut. No wonder he ran away from me. You said you don't understand why Tiger left so suddenly. You starting to see now? I lowered my gaze in shame. My hands, which rested on my knees, balled into fists tight enough to leave nail marks on my palms that lasted for days. I can't do that because I don't have nails long enough to dig into my palms no matter how tight I ball my fists. I swallowed back tears, hard, and after a moment, I gave a terse nod. I have one nail that could to my palm. It's not tight enough to leave a mark. It would just be tiny little mark. Teeny bitty mark. I just pick at my nails all the time so they break easily anyway. That was all I could manage. That's all I can manage with one teeny tiny mark. Spacey, I'll offer you no more advice, and I'll not help you bring Tiger back. If you're serious about not giving up on him, you'll have to do this yourself. Do you understand? Grandfather's tone was severe, but it wasn't cruel. An unmistakable warmth radiated at its core, and that's the thing. You shouldn't have to do anything to bring him back. It's up to me to do that. He needs to come back for me because we talked about things, and you know what I mean? We have an understanding, not you drag him back kicking and screaming and chain him down, you know? A warmth I only just noticed. Yes, sir. I bowed deeply to him, not simply out of propriety, but out of profound respect. Oh my god, we're having a bro moment with our grandpa. Amazing. Tiger, look what you did. You made me actually have a moment, a touching moment with my grandfather. That's just amazing. I mean, seriously. Anyway, which one next? Up or down? Feeble Complaints is next. That's this one. Tiger goes to see Grandfather to tell him what's happened, but Grandfather sees through him like cheap glass. Day after I left the house, got an appointment with Gramps and wandered up the rambling Tojo mansion in Kamakura. I mean, I assumed we were Tiger, because... Man, I don't think I've ever come here feeling this downhearted. But I owe that old man an explanation, at least. Imagine having to push those motherfucking gates open. I've been waiting for you, Tiger. What? Gramps? Did you actually come to the gate just to wait for me? Yes, because your visits always have interesting timing. If it's important, of course, I'll come out to receive you. Ugh, a little sharp as a tack. Oh well, works out better this way anyway. I'll just hand it over while he's here. Stuck my hand in my pocket, fishing for the thing I wanted to give back to him, but... As I did that, he turned his back to me and began walking towards the main house. I won't keep you standing around in the cold. Why don't you come in and join me for some tea? That's okay. Here's fine. I've only got a quick thing I need to... Come in. Okay, jeez. You get the fuck in this house, motherfucker! Come in. Yep, he's ticked off. I figured he might be. Now that I think about it, Kasuga probably clued him in on everything last night. So, what is it you want to report? I'm sure you've probably already been informed, but I'll confirm it. I left the house. What? My brows knit together in a confused frown. Why was he so surprised? Didn't Kasuga tell you? No, I've heard nothing of the sort for him.
He may be Spacey's close ally, but he's no ally of mine.
Oh! Asuka, what have you done to grandfather? We can plot together.
When did you leave?
Last night. I came by today to give this back to you. So I'm assuming this is before we saw grandfather. You know what I mean? This is like supposed to be like a flashback, but it's weird that it's here and stuff. You know, anyway. Took a certain credit card out of my pocket and put it on the table. Sorry, Gramps. I just can't keep being an observer for you anymore. And if I'm not working for you, I can't accept payment from you. Gramps looked at me, but he made no movement toward the card. Oh, my palms start to sweat.
You've run from Spacey, haven't you?
I mean, I do have that effect on people. You nailed it without me having to say a thing. Couldn't help but flinch. And I don't mean her in the game, I mean literally me.
What in the world happened? Tell me.
He was a man who could issue commands with a single glance. Couldn't hope to stand up to him. You could run, though. He's old. Do you think he could catch you? Probably. Never mind. You're better off just telling him. Besides, the situation got much worse. Spelled the end of our friendship, too. And if this was indeed the end, I at least wanted it to happen through the truth. Not much to tell. You just don't have the guts to handle this, that's all. Yeah, we've noticed. Chicken shit. I love Taiga, and I'm totally okay. Like, he's got to have some kind of quirk, and he is a goddamn chicken shit coward. But, like, I'm just going to throw it in his face until he comes back, right? I got to be mad about it, so.
The guts!
I nodded, and I started talking, telling him everything that happened. I held back nothing. I think you should hold back some shit. You're talking to my grandpa, after all. Jesus.
You did what?
I know, I held her hand.
You're gonna marry her now, bitch.
So I took off. Sorry I couldn't live up to your expectations, Gramps. Like I said, I just don't have the cojones. His long sigh told me just how disappointed he was. Pain stabbed my chest, but I had no right to look away. All I could do was bow an apology.
I understand what you're getting at, and you're right about one thing. It's not possible for you to remain in your role as an impartial observer. Why not say hell with it and stay on as one of her suitors? You could make a good couple.
We do make a good couple.
I know Spacey has feelings for you. You know as much, too. You deny it, Taiga?
Couldn't deny it. Couldn't bring myself to lie to him. Not here. Not now. It was just too much for me. She's too innocent. She looked at me like I was some kind of infallible hero. I don't fit that description in the least. You know, at least he's self-aware. You know what I mean? Instead of being like, oh, she looks at me like a hero and I'm going to manipulate that. He's like, you know what? I can't do that. You know? Yeah, she's all excited about me now, but reality would set in. She'd eventually realize I'm not all that much to write home about. If it was just a normal relationship, I'd find some way to make it work. She's the Tojo family heir. What if she didn't figure out my failings until the engagement went through? A hell of a tragedy. Best that I hit the road before I disgrace you all.
What are you babbling about, you absolute fool?
I was reading something and someone's like, you put you absolute in front of anything and it becomes a great insult. Like you absolute Muppet, or like, you absolute curtain rod. And it's like, it actually works no matter what you do. You absolute calculator. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no matter what you say, you absolute whatever. And then somebody else, it was like probably a Tumblr post from God knows where, but it was on Facebook or something, and it was like, and then somebody else was like, if you make like ED to the end of anything, like, it sounds like you got drunk out of your mind, like curtain hangered. Like, I'm totally curtain hangered. Like, I don't know why it's like the funniest fucking thing. You absolute fool. You just throw anything in there. Anything. Oh. That's why when people call people Muppets, like, you absolute Muppet, you're like, see, that's funny. I think it was you absolute. But it works with that anyway, so. Any fucking word that you can think of, like, fucking just is amazing. Oh, dear God. Anyway. Come on, Gramps. Always been a dull kid. I'm just telling you the absolute truth.
Don't insult me by thinking I'm easy to trick. Your words don't reflect the absolute truth in the least. How long have we known each other? It's Stop giving me the runaround and tell me the real truth.
I already told you the truth. Taiga. Damn it. What's this old man want out of me, huh? What's he trying to make me say? Nauseating combination of annoyance and panic started to eat away at the little confidence I'd mustered.
You have feelings for Spacey.
Yeah? She's a good woman.
But those feelings are so shallow you discard them like rubbish to satisfy your empty vanity.
Ow. Harsh.
You absolute corn muffin.
It's funnier with food. Oh, God. I'm going to be laughing about that for like an hour. Empty vanity, eh? Going for the jugular today. And if this was the mood he was stuck in, there was nothing I could do except absorb it with a smile. Well, what else am I going to do at this point? I don't have the chutzpah or confidence to make it work. You're throwing out a lot of fucking random words out here, Taiga. I like to think I know myself, painfully aware of my limits. Dreams are great, but they don't reflect reality. I know I'm dumb, but I'm not dumb enough to say screw it and throw myself into this full bore. The very thought that I'm capable of ruining her friggin' future terrifies me, okay? Everything was out on the table. Gramps just looked at me and snorted.
So you're a coward.
Chicken shit coward, Gramps.
Right, sorry. So you're a chicken shit coward. You absolute coward.
It doesn't work with that, because, like, that's a normal sentence, but, you know.
You absolute scoff.
Can you just imagine being in a fight with someone and be like, you absolute scarf? And people are like, wait, what? It would totally throw them for a loop. It's a great insult, because I have no idea what to say to that. They'd be like, what? Excuse me? Shut up.
You really should have come to work for me when I first put the offer down.
That's got nothing to do with this.
It has everything to do with this. You turned me down for exactly the same reason you fled the house. When all's said and done, you have no faith in yourself. That's your biggest failing, Taiga. That and your skin's absolutely as thick as tissue paper. You absolute tissue paper.
Okay, that one didn't work as well.
You absolute piece of tissue paper.
I mean, that works a little bit better. Hey, leave off, would ya? It works better with things that are just completely random.
You absolute fork! Even if you were to screw up as badly as you fear you will, Jojo family wouldn't be shook in the least. Say that Spacey did someday come to regret falling for you. So what? That's so petty and inconsequential the tabloids probably wouldn't even touch it. You understand, Taiga? Your concerns hardly fit the definition of the word. You'll have ample room to make mistakes. Your pride's all that keeps you from accepting that.
Couldn't say a word. He was right. Gramps, Babe, kids at the orphanage, sister. They were more important to me than anything, and I couldn't stand the idea of letting them down. If it was possible for me to slip up bad enough for them to ask, is that your best? It was better not to try. So I ran. Running away was the only thing I could pull off flawlessly, and that's so funny because if you think about it, like, it was possible for me to slip it bad enough for them to ask, is that your best? I shouldn't try, because you're thinking, I'm going to do something, they're going to be like, that was the best you could do? But the thing that you're not realizing is nobody here in this freaking equation. Grandpa over there. You would do something, you'd be like, I failed, and he'd be like, well, you gave it your best shot, didn't you? Well, that's good, that's fine. You know what? That's cool. And you'd be like, I didn't, though, and he's like, don't worry, you'll figure it out, you know? We would do the same thing. The kids at the orphanage would look up to him and be like, oh, we know you did your best, big bro. You're still awesome. And the same with like, every single person in that equation wouldn't be like, oh, that was your best? Disappointed. And then he's like, nobody would say that to you. That's why people love you, because then when you fail, they're like, it's okay. Did you try your hardest? Yeah? All right. Well, then this isn't, your forte, and you just try harder next time, or we'll work on it, or did you try your best? No? Okay, well, then next time try your best. You know what I mean? Like, nobody would be like, God, you suck. Ugh, I had so much faith in you, and you failed once. Huh? You know what I mean? Like, you don't have faith in us either if you think that people would react that way, you know? Damn it, Taiga. Snap out of it! Anyway.
Neither neither Spacey nor I are so careless that we turn our backs on you over petty mistakes.
Right? Exactly.
I know that. Then why not bet on your success, You're always saying underdog victories are your specialty.
It's in the same universe as gambling.
Oh? I'd say a future together with Spacey is worth millions more than the biggest jackpot Las Vegas has to offer. I know, because I do the books. I know how much money I got.
This was too much. Couldn't take any more. Sorry, Gramps. I gotta run.
Tiger?
I said something like this to her too, but please, just let me go. I got up from my seat and deliberately turned my back on him. So long, Gramps. Thanks for everything. See ya. Gramps is like, idiot. He'll be back. I walked out of the room. I could feel a phantom tail tucked between my legs. Gramps didn't say a word to stop me. I told you! He's tucking his tail between his legs like a goddamn chicken-shitted coward! You absolute lamp! Oh, dear God. Alright, I would guess here, but we could also go here. Feelings for you? Decisions made? Which one? Feelings for you. Good God. These are going a little bit faster than I expected, I think, but that's alright. Got plenty of time. We'll start this one. Oh, sorry. After talking things over with Samugi and Arimura, I decided to send Taiga a whisk message, ranting on and on and on and on about our feelings. Paragraphs. Wrote him a motherfucking novel. My dearest Spacey. Oh, how I missed you. Samugi, not so hard. You're smothering me. But you were away for so long, and you didn't even respond to my whisk messages. When Kasuga told me you developed a fever and lay teetering on the edge of life and death, I felt my whole being crumble away. Alright, I think she just stole the crown of dramatic from Ichiya, and now he's gonna go sulk in the corner and he might get that crown back in a minute. Kasuga, that is not a funny joke. It was a little embarrassing, yes, but I was glad Samugi had been so concerned. I'm sorry I worried you. She slowly drew away from me, her eyes downcast. I don't know if Kasuga actually could... I thought Samugi was just being dramatic, but then Kasuga's over there like, oh, she's teetering on the edge of life and death. Well, he's just laughing in a corner because he sent that. Yeah, no, I could see that. Anyway, she slowly drew away from me, her eyes downcast. Oh, did we read that anyway? Do you truly feel sorry? Yes, I do. Thank you for being concerned, but I've fully recovered. I promise. Really? Really? You needn't worry any... And I expect you to make it up to me. Today. What? Did not realize you were getting manipulated. She's like, are you really sorry? After school, Samugi collared both myself and Arimura and dragged us to the cafeteria. She made Arimura hack open the lock so we could access the area. Perfect! In here we can air everything without being overheard. Please don't wait on us. Just get it over with. Fast. She didn't even allow me the opportunity to protest. Ichiya, Shion, and Nayuta were so worried about my condition, they handled me like fine china. On the other side of the coin, Samugi gently strong-armed me into spilling everything. I truly lived a life of extremes. But those extremes kept me balanced. And I was truly blessed to have them. Well... And here I am at school again. I told them everything that had happened in the whirlwind of the past few days. I held nothing back. The talk served as a way for me to organize my own thoughts, too. I told them that Taiga had left. I told him that I'd created the circumstances under which he'd left, and I'd only recently come to realize it. I regret everything now. I was so blind, selfish, and insensitive. Spacey! I idolized him, forcing him to fit into a mold I'd made for him. Is it any wonder that he felt stifled and decided to leave? Idealized him, not idolized him. Different. Looking back on it, I can hardly believe I was arrogant enough to tell him to stay with me so that I could mature as a person. How did it not occur to me that he had his own hopes and dreams for the future? I never once thought to ask him what he wanted. A solid plan for the future is important, yes. You and Mr. Isurugi need to sit down and have a thorough discussion about this. We do? Arimura's like, oh. For some reason, Arimura was drenching us with a look of complete disgust. Arimura? What's wrong? You know something? Given your personality, Tojo, your thought process doesn't exactly shock me. But aren't the two of you forgetting something stupidly obvious? Taiga left. Huh? You're both so caught up in the fiddly details you don't even notice the elephant in the room. Are Tojo and Taiga honestly in love? That needs to be question number one. I thought the elephant in the room was that there was no elephant in the room because it fucking pieced the hell out. Samugi and I looked at each other. Good point! We quickly nodded in stunned agreement. This is like just normal gossip, right? So Spill, are you head over heels for him or not? Yeah, you'll eventually need to talk about the complicated stuff, but who says you've got to do that now? Put it off. First things first. Find out where Tiger ran off to, find some way to talk to him, then say, I love you right to his face. Samugi is the one over there dragging out every fucking, like, romance, every fucking chapter, every fucking conversation in a Otome game. And Arimura's over there like, can you just kiss already? These are two sides to the us coin right here. I love the slow burn, but goddammit, kiss already! It's great, I love it. That's what you gotta focus on right now. I felt like I'd been shot through the heart. Oh, God damn it. Why is there so many fucking references to songs in these games? It just made me want to sing. I'm just gonna stop. I love you? Come to think of it, I told him I had faith in him, and then I thought he was special. But I never told him the most important thing. You're absolutely right, Arimura. Of course! She isn't called the Love Doctor for nothing after all. I am not. Nobody calls me that. Stop trying to invent creepy nicknames for me. Stop trying to make the Doctor of Love happen, Samugi. It's never gonna happen. The Love Doctor, is that what it was? We both looked at Arimura, our eyes sparkling with admiration. She rolled her own eyes and turned away as she heaved an exasperated sigh. Anyway, do you have the first clue about where he is? Not one. He hasn't gone back to the orphanage, and Grandfather says he hasn't heard anything from him since he left. I know he took his passport with him, though. In the worst case, he's already left the country. I wouldn't say that. I expect he's still in Japan. No, I wager he's still in this city. How do you know? Just a hunch I saw him the other day at a cafe. I'm with Kano on this one. I bet Taiga's still clinging on to you on some level. He's not ready to leave the country just yet. He clearly wasn't indifferent to you. Honestly, like, if I was, like, in love with someone and I ran away from them, the first thing I'd do would get the fuck out of the city. Like, I'm just gonna pine around. Maybe they'll text me and tell me how much they love me, despite the fact that they literally lunged on me and held me tightly in their grasp so I couldn't get away. And then it was like, no, let me leave. And then I left, and they gave me my space and respected my wishes, but I'm really hoping they chase me. I'm just saying, we both crazy. So. Oh. Bird needs to get told off, but if I yell at him, he'll make that disgusting, ugly fucking noise. I hate it so much, anyway. By the way, just to be sure, you did send him a whisk message, right? What? I couldn't. Why not? Well, he left without turning back to look at me even once. If I sent him a message, he would see it as nothing but a nuisance. Well, if a whisk message would bother him, wouldn't having to see and talk to you be an even bigger pain in the ass? She said but I'm gonna go with ass, because I feel like she would. Arimura! Look, you know what I mean, okay? Ugh, this is so aggravating. Listen, what I'm saying is the ball's in your court. If you don't do something, he'll be gone with the wind. Do you really care about being a bother? Right now, your only connection to him is Whis. Use it. She's right. I'd hesitated to send him a message, not because I was concerned for how he felt. I'd actually been afraid I'd make him annoyed with me. That was all. It really is all or nothing now, isn't it? Exactly. You've come this far, so might as well put all your chips on the table. Got it? Got it. What am I gonna do if he's blocked me? If you send him something and it bounces, you just gotta find some other way to reach him. Or realize that he's not interested and stop stalking the man. Just saying. Oh, right. This is not good advice. If you message someone and they've blocked you, like, That would be a good time to go. They blocked me for a reason. And maybe they're an irrational asshole, or maybe you're a psycho. Don't chase them down, hunt them down, and find them. Just don't. Just don't do that shit. Okay? Seriously? What do you think I should say to him? Hell if I know. Use that pretty head of yours. I mean, I understand if you, like, text someone, and then maybe, like, and then you're like, they didn't respond. Let me message them through, like, Twitter or Facebook or something. And then you're blocked on all front. Then you stop, okay? I understand maybe a second shot. But, like, you don't, like, I'm going to go to their place of work, or I'm going to hunt them down. I'm going to find them, and then corner them because they blocked you for a reason. You know? Most likely. And, like, also, nobody in their right mind. Quite like, I'm going to block them, and then they better fucking hunt me down. Nobody plays those games. That's sane, okay? Don't do it. Just... I get it. If somebody blocked you, you're like, what the fuck? You'd want to know why. We have a human need to know. That's why mysteries are fun. You're like, but who did it? But it'll drive you crazy because, like, we need to know the answers. But, like, you know what? You're never going to know all the answers. So just, like, be angry, think they're the asshole, and then move on. Don't stalk them. Don't. This is not good. This is not. I mean, I know it's an Otome game, but still, it's like, sometimes the advice in these is like, just don't do that. Don't really. In the games, we're allowed to be crazy, but, anyway. Now, Arimura. Spacey, why don't you take a few deep breaths and calm down too? Then we'll think logically about what we should say. Besides, the love doctor has to be her best so she can dole out her heart-mending advice. Would you just quit it? Ugh, okay. I'll only say this once, so listen up. Men like him don't deal well with cleanliness. You take the direct route, it'll blow up in your face. The direct route? What do you mean? Be specific! Excuse me. Personal space, please. Oh, I'm sorry, but could you explain? By direct, I mean avoid phrases like, I want to see you, or I miss you and stuff. It's too blunt. That stuff will just make him feel cornered, and it'll just stress him out even more. I definitely don't want to do that. We're over time, but... Don't go sending him an apology novel, either. Oh, okay, so there goes mine. When he looks at it, it might make him feel guilty enough to delete it on the spot. Then something brief. If you want to apologize, do it in person. That goes over way better with people like him. You can gauge his reaction as you talk, too. That makes sense. Well then, something casual to start sounds best. Yo. A short and simple message that lightly hints at your feelings, Spacey. That ought to do the trick for now. Like a subtle hint, a direct hint? What kind of hint? I'm not good with hints. That sounds more complicated than you're making it sound. It is. Well, what other options do you have? None? Don't you worry. We're here for you every step of the way. First, open up a new message and visualize yourself typing. I stared at the WIS message screen. I typed out a few words, then erased them. Then tried again. Time flew, and before I knew it, the three of us had to leave the school building. Okay, this is the perfect place to stop. Good. Alright, so we're gonna type in... You know what? This is when you need to send them the message and be like, what about this? And then they're like, yeah, that's good. And then you send it. Like, girl, don't just send it on your own. Sometimes this is where you need other people to proofread, and they're like... you type like 4 sentences and Armor is like, I said not a novel! I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.